This video is brought to you by BetUS Sportsbook and Casino.
What is going on, everyone? It's your guy Cole Jackson back here on Road Graders, powered today by BetUS, and we are going to be talking about one of the biggest topics of interest, one of the biggest players on the team, Daniel Faalele, competing at right guard. We got 2 games of film now, so really looking forward to diving into this. I know you guys have been waiting for this. A lot of people asked why I didn't do this last week. Just given the position change, I wanted a couple games of film, and we have lots of snaps now to take a look at. So we're going to go through run game, pass game, all that good stuff. If you guys are looking forward to this breakdown, hit that like button. Hit subscribe if you're new here. Drop a comment down below. Let me know what you guys think about whether or not Daniel Faalele has earned that right guard spot. And once again, thank you to BetUS for powering this video. Let's dive right in. So we are going to start in the pass game, because that's one of the areas that I'm really looking forward to watching with Daniel Faalele, is how can he transition as a pass blocker given some of the struggles we saw at offensive tackle. So good rep to see here. He's going to line up against Jalen Carter here as the 3 tech, and let's get into it. So we're going to see ball snapped here and some good extension here from Faalele on the little quick pass there to Owen Wright. So when we go back and watch this, what's going to happen is the most important piece is going to be, and I thought Faalele has done a pretty good job of this, these inside hands that I'm always harping on. We know he has incredible length for an offensive guard. He's got incredible length for a tackle, but when he gets inside, that's really his saving grace as a pass blocker. So to see kind of those cuffed hands, and you can see Carter's got his hands on the outside shoulder pad, so Faalele has all the leverage here, and you can see it right here as Carter tries to do a secondary pass rush move, and he's trying to control the shoulder pads here. Faalele actually has, and I should have posted the other angle, he's got his inside chest plate right over his tit, basically, locked in here. And so there's going to be a little bit of a hold on there, but that's okay because his hands are inside. And what that does, and the ball's kind of coming out so you see it, the camera move. So you see right here how Carter's trying to swim over, but Faalele is able to, as that arm comes over, that's actually right there, that white glove right there, that's his right hand. So he tried to basically push him in and then swim over almost as a tertiary pass rush move. But because Faalele has that inside cuff, he's able to just re-engage, and you can see the leverage he has here. You know, there's that nice arch back. He's standing tall. His pad level's high, but that's okay because he's got those vice grips. And that's against Jalen Carter. So really good rep there from Daniel Faalele in pass pro. One of those ones that I was really impressed with, and coming against really good competition. Obviously small sample size, but we're going to take what we can get. We've seen this video before, so you're going to see the Eagles creep up here, and they actually paused and called a full line slide. So everyone's going to be sliding to their right. So we're going hat on hat here. McCary's got to get out to the 9 tech. Falele's got to get out here to the linebacker coming up, lining up as a 7 tech. And Cleveland has to get over here to the 4 tech. So everybody's sliding hard right. And you see Faalele right there. And this is what intrigues me so much about him on the inside. It's using that length. His pad level's a little high, but I think when he's able to do stuff like this, it doesn't really matter too much. And you see him just, nicely moving, pushing him out of the pocket. And this is really where that tackle skill set is going to be noticed. So he's going to push, and much like we always talk about when we want to kind of drop that that outside hand onto the inside hip of the defender and just kind of ride them out the back of the pocket, he's going to basically do that, because what it does is it creates a step-up lane, creates a scramble lane, and it maintains the integrity of the pocket when he's able to get this type of positioning. So if he's just kind of pushing and his shoulders are facing this way, that's when you can get a little bit concerning. But when he's, following the pocket and basically just turning them, both McCary as the right tackle and Faalele as the right guard have just turned their guys inside and maintain the integrity of the pocket. So, sliding into space there and being able to do that, really impressive stuff. So here we're going to have a 3 tech lined up to his right, and we're going to see probably one of my favorite pass rush reps that I've seen from Faalele. He does a couple of things. I'm just going to play it again. Watch his feet and hands moving in sync here. And, his footwork here is what impressed me the most, because that's something everyone's been worried about, is his quickness. And I'm going to talk about it a lot in the run game, but I haven't been too concerned with his quickness in the pass game. We just saw him slide into space, make a block no problem. Now you're going to see, look at those active feet. They're just constantly pumping. They don't stop through that entire rep. And that's something that I was worried about last year, is he would kind of get out and he'd kind of get to this point where he's landed his punch and then he'd stop moving his feet. So right here, 95 is kind of pushed off his arms, and usually Faalele last year would try and stick that inside knife hand into this armpit right here, and then that was the end of the rep and his feet would kind of die. But you can see right here, he re-engages, and right there is that nice diagonal plane. His inside foot doesn't drop below his outside foot. He's on that diagonal plane, and he's pumping his feet nonstop, keeping them in that diagonal frame to protect that inside. Ball comes out, really nice. And obviously, just his hands and feet working in sync there. Really impressive stuff. So that's kind of the stuff I want to see in pass pro from him. Now we're going to see against a 4-eye. And again, same as that rep against the linebacker that pushed up. He's going to basically try and bend his outside. Rosengarten's got to get all the way outside to the wide tech, because the Eagles like to play their edges really wide. So Faalele's got to get out in space here. His hands don't hit perfectly, but here's that margin for error. When his hands don't hit perfectly, look at that ability to reach. Like, that is some arm length right there. And he's, to his credit, it's not just his arms doing the work. He's going to turn, and he's going to recover with his feet. And you can kind of see Rosengarten dropping back, kind of just blocks it. Watch his feet. I'm not going to pause it. I'm going to play it right through. I want you guys to just stare at his feet and watch how quick they pump when he starts to come and line his feet this way. So when he starts to get perpendicular to the line of scrimmage, right there. See how those feet move? And once again, I don't mind him turning the pocket because his body is staying square to the rusher. He's not just trying to push him that way, because when you're doing that as a guard, it can create an inside, lane, but he's going to stay with him through this entire rep and use that length, keep the space, and push him out. As we're getting into the offensive line play, obviously very important to the Baltimore Ravens' success this regular season, BetUS has some awesome odds here on the over-under for 10.5. Now, I don't know about you guys, but the offensive line, Daniel Faalele specifically, giving some stability to this offensive line is going to be crucial to hitting that over. So go over, check out BetUS. Check out this. I think it's a really fun bet. It's always fun to follow throughout the year as we chase that 11th win if you hammer that over, which is what I would be doing. BetUS offers the fastest payouts in the industry, so you won't be waiting around when you hit that big win. And when you sign up, you can get a 125% deposit bonus on your first 3 deposits up to $2,000. Depositing and withdrawing is a breeze with their fast and easy process, and 24/7 personalized service 365 days a year means you're never alone. They're not just about the basics. They offer live wagering on all major games and the best betting variety in the business, plus 10% back on your net losses twice a year. Click the link in the description to get your BetUS account started and start hitting those those big bucks. Thanks to BetUS for sponsoring this video, and we will continue on with Pass Pro with Daniel Faalele. So now we got that 4-eye lined up just inside Roger Rosengarten, and there's a DB stepping up here. It's just if you're wondering why Rosengarten's kicking, and we're going to see a nice inside hand stop sign. And again, using this length really well. So 4-eye is going to basically cross his face and try and create that lane for the linebacker to come up. Faalele is going to stick this inside hand perfectly. You can see it coming right up into that inside armpit, or that his outside armpit, and just again, look at those feet pumping. They're on that diagonal frame. You can't see it too well. As he bites his anchor, they get a little flat, but he's maintained that position. He's maintained the pocket integrity, and then he ends up actually putting him into the ground. Watch him lift. Boom. Get on the ground. Hell of a rep there from Daniel Faalele. We got another 4-eye just inside Rosengarten. Rosengarten's got to kick out, so he's going to have to use his length here, and once again knocks the helmet off. But you can just see once he gets that punch landed and uses those vice grips. But once again, it's not just the length and it's not just his hands. Watch his feet pump. Just watch his feet right now. They are moving faster than a hiccup. So this is going to be the interesting thing because we're going to transition into the run game. Hell of a play by Tylan Wallace there. We're going to transition into the run game, and we just saw in his pass pro quick feet, and no doubt about it. Like we saw it consistently throughout all those rips. They're pumping, they're moving quick, they're active, and now we're going to get into the run game where the difference between his good reps and his bad reps are going to be when he uses his quickness and when he doesn't. So we're going to start with a power left here. So you guys know the drill on power left. We're going to get down blocks from the right side of the line, and Daniel Faalele is going to be your lead blocker. So there he goes, and this is just, it's not too slow, but he's high. And you can see that as he comes around the corner, he's got to get in. You see that linebacker creeping up, fill that gap. He's got to get tight, low, and be able to get that that inside shoulder of the Philly linebacker. But he's too high, he's too wide, and he's not quick enough to be able to compensate for that. So as Josh Jones caves in with Voorhees here on the down blocks and they start to move those bodies, he's got to get tight to their butts basically. But he ends up, this run gets sprung, but it's more from Josh Jones, who you can see here, as he's caving in, he's going to peel off and get this shoulder of 45 right there, who clears that lane as Owen Wright makes a really good cut. So just want to see a little bit more quickness out of him. Now here's one thing he is doing really well. We're going to see power to the right, so he's the down blocker, and he's going to just cave in this line. There goes Voorhees, and there's him and Rosengarten. Rosengarten didn't maintain his leverage, but they definitely moved some bodies. You're going to see their feet start here on, the 5-yard line, and they're going to move, down pretty solid. That's a couple yards right there. Faalele moving him up. So, they're already that's 2-3 yards there of, before contact. So really solid. Rosengarten just needs to keep his leverage there, but really solid from Faalele and him just to kind of cave in that line. And that's where I think his strength would be. It's funny, I think, in a Greg Roman scheme where they're running power and they're down blocking on that right side specifically, I think it'd be a really good fit. It might be not as good of a fit. Well, we'll see. Let's jump into it because some of his zone blocks were really good. It's just about whether or not he's consistently getting off the line of scrimmage and getting out. So here we're going to see inside zone left. So he's going to help on that 3-tech inside. You see that right hand come up, and then he caves down on the linebacker. So that's what I mean. That's an inside zone block, and I think this is really solid. So basically we got the whole line going left, and so Rosengarten has to take over the 3-tech. Falele's got to pass him off, so he's just going to bring that right hand up there. You see that? As Rosengarten takes over, helmet comes across. Falele's now got to cave in that linebacker, and he does that well. And there's your gap that Owen Wright's trying to cut through. We just need Rosengarten to hold that leverage. Unfortunately, his helmet comes across Rosengarten, but you see Falele's gotten into that linebacker and cleared that gap, so he did his job really well. So that's a good example of an inside zone block where I think Faalele looked really, really solid. Now we're going to see a split zone. This one we looked at in the Voorhees video. So Voorhees is going to lose his leverage on his man, and I'd call this split zone because you got 12 coming across trying to occupy this backside unblocked defender who, I'm assuming it's supposed to be a motion action, but I mean, may as well just kind of crack him and disrupt him because he ends up making the play. But to focus on Daniel Faalele, not just the run game. So we got to, on the right side, he's got to drive. He's got a 2-eye on him here. So he's got him just kind of on that inside shade, and he's going right. So he's got to pass him off to Cleveland, who's trying to climb or trying to cross here. And so you see that help there, and then he gets into 45. So I actually think Rasheen Ali's better bet here was to keep pressing on the right-hand side. And, I'm assuming he sees Rosengarten get stacked up a little bit here. He didn't get too much of a cut, and he tries to cut back here. And I think actually if Voorhees holds his block, you can see Voorhees lose right there. Ali has a solid, kind of cut back, but it's really that backside defender. With him going unblocked and that split zone or motion action not doing anything to occupy him, I would have kept pressing right. And I think Cleveland, Faalele, and Rosengarten do a really good job working together. We got hats on hats here. And again, it sucks Voorhees couldn't keep that guy here. But I think these three, moving out in space really well together. And as, they start to kind of overlap, they might have been able to do something if Ali cut to the right. But he's starting on the short side of the field. I'm assuming that's why he cut. Inside zone here. He's got the 3-tech on him. So again, we're going to see... Well, actually, this was one of those plays that frustrated me. So they're going inside zone left. So you're going to see everybody take... Where is it? Skip there. So everybody's taking that inside zone step to the left. He's got a 3-tech. We just saw him do this where he... we know Rosengarten has to get across and to that inside shoulder of the 3-tech. Faalele has to use that inside hand to basically crack down on him, give Rosengarten time to overtake, and then he's peeling. Faalele is supposed to be, peeling in. So he's basically going bang and then peeling into the linebacker. And instead, Faalele engages him, and not only does he not get inside, does he not get into the linebacker, but he doesn't even get the leverage point on the 3-tech who crossed his face. So this is one of those quickness things where I'm just, I want to see more out of him when this happens. So as he kind of comes up here, I need to see a harder, quicker step to the left where he's going to basically get that hat up into this gap so that he can attack this inside shoulder, allow Rosengarten to get there, and start to be able to use that inside hand, to locate into the linebacker. But the linebacker comes free there, and it forces the cutback into where we don't really have DBs blocked because it's supposed to be inside zone left. We're not really looking to cut that one back unless an opportunity really presents it. We want to, ideally, if Faalele gets into his man, we're going to play off the blocks here. We got a nice seal here. If Faalele gets into the linebacker, we're probably running off Falele's ass. So that's just something that I wanted to see a little bit better in the quickness area, and that's something that I think stands out to a lot of people when they're calling them slow. So just something to keep an eye on. I think we're going to get wide zone here. Yeah, so we're getting wide zone here. You see everybody, taking that scoop step to the left. And again, this is kind of the similar play, right? We have a 2, that's a 3-tech. We have a 3-tech here in the B gap, and Faalele is going to take that wide step, and there we do it, right? So we got that right hand, we're passing off, Rosengarten's taking over, and then we're trying to move level 2, and he does a really good job, and both him and Rosengarten, who I think him and Rosengarten worked really well together here. They kind of create that cutback lane for Chris Collier, and so it was really, if we could have had a better block from 83 here, and linebacker comes unblocked, but that's still a solid gain, so nothing wrong there. I thought they worked really well together on that one, but you're just seeing kind of the difference in the two, and that's why I need to see more consistency in his quickness off the snap to be able to get, when he's in zone, to those seal points so that he can pass off to Rosengart and get into the second level. Now we're going to see outside zone, so we got a 0-tech over top of the center, and I believe we're going outside zone left. Let me make sure. Yeah, it looks like it. Yeah. So we're going outside zone left. So Faalele has to overtake that 0-tech. Cleveland's passing him off and then going into the second level. Everything's looking good here. And again, we see enough quickness for Faalele to get to the left side of the 0-tech. So he's got to get all the way over here. And he does a pretty good job right there, turning, and he's just got to maintain that leverage. So again, we just need a little bit, more quickness, a little bit more better leverage creation as he overtakes. That is a tough block because he's crossing all the way over to the other opposite side of the 0-tech. But you can see right there, this set up really well. Cleveland gets into that linebacker, and there's kind of that's your area, right? Because as that happens, Voorhees should also be climbing to the linebacker here to kind of create that lane, and he has a little bit of a gap. If he can get through there untouched, if Faalele can seal enough to create, I think he read that cutback really well, Chris Collier did, and it's just not enough from the blockers to kind of spring him. So I know a lot of people had some concerns with the running backs. I kind of did too, but I thought that was a really solid read by Chris Collier to cut that back. We just need a little bit better execution from the blockers. Now we're going to get counter right, and again, this is just a quickness thing, so just for play design here. So we're going to get the center and the left tackle pulling. You're going to get a little bit of a counter step here from the running back, and then we need down blocks from our other offensive line, and we need Cleveland to come down and kick out the edge, and then Josh Jones is going to be your lean blocker. So as he does that, we got Rosengarten trying to clear there. We got Cleveland coming in for the cutback, and then Josh Jones should be going through that gap, but Josh Jones gets disrupted because Fele completely misses his man. So this one I didn't like because he's got a 2-eye right over top of him. So all he has to do is drive at the 71, and it's just, this is too short of a step. So watch his left foot. So the left foot basically hiccups. And I'm assuming he's doing this because Cleveland has to drop step to get around him. And that's fine, but he needs to instead take a sharp step here where he's going to try and cut up and get that left inside hand nice and low to be able to create that leverage. But by taking those short steps, he basically wastes 1-2 steps. 71's already come this way, filled that gap, and now you're at a location deficit. So he's just going to try and push him out. But 71 and Rosengarten kind of misses the linebacker too. He just tries to push him out, but I think everybody was just a little slow there. So not ideal, not what I wanted to see, but just kind of, back-to-back reps where we're looking a little slow out the gates and we're losing a little bit of consistency there. I think we got inside zone left here. We got a 3-tech over top of him. And, not bad there. He's going to come across. I would have played this a little differently because he's working that inside zone and he wants to basically hit here and climb up. And Collier is going to cut off that. But Cleveland's kind of got decent control there. So I would have tried to push a little bit less with my outside hand, my left hand here, and focus more on climbing to the second level because that's who comes up and makes the play. So not a bad rep, and this was actually on a short yardage situation where they got the first down. So I mean, decent outcome. So that's all good. But overall thoughts, there's enough here for me to be very encouraged by Daniel Faalele's game. I think the slow steps, the inconsistencies, those are just kind of growing pains you're going to have to live with if they go with Daniel Faalele. I think the biggest thing to be worried about in the run game is, can he manage those smaller, quicker, just a Matabike types? I think his pass pro is actually not bad. I'm a lot less worried about his pass protection because the way he uses his length, the way he's moving his feet in pass pro, it's a lot different than what he's doing in the run game. I think he's a lot quicker, he's a lot more confident, and I think a lot of that confidence is coming from him knowing he can use that length and recover. So overall, what I need to see moving forward, what I hope to see this week in the third preseason game if he plays, is, my God, just be quicker off the snap because he's got the strength, he's got the length, he's just got to be quicker getting to his points to be able to get guys leveraged and into drive block situations. And then once he gets them in there, I want to see him keep finishing guys. Absolutely drive them into the ground, be that big 6'8", 360-pound mauler. But overall, some of those zone blocks, pretty good movement skills when he gets out of the gates. And so it's not that he can't move. It's not that he has the lack of athleticism. He's just inconsistent getting out of his snap. So that's what we'll look forward to. Hopefully we see more of that. Thank you for stopping into this video. Thank you to BetUS for powering this video. As always, be good to yourselves, be good to each other. Peace out, everyone.